Welcome to my channel. Make sure you subscribe, like and comment.
Guys, welcome once again to another recap of The Real Housewife. This is episode 5 of season 16, and we got the finale, the reunion finale of Married to Medicine. So let's first go ahead and talk about RHOA, right? Well,
hmm
before we go ahead and talk about the two episodes, how would you rate both episodes of the show?
Oh my goodness, I'm gonna stick to this four. I'm
For the
sorry.
both of them?
Yeah, for the both of them, simply because it's like the same things we're going over, and I don't know. It's just not keeping my interest really.
Mm.
What about you?
For me, I would say the reunion for Married to Medicine was kind of like I felt like mainly episode finished. I was like they could have just wrapped it up at part 2 of the reunion.
Right.
Um, they could have found a way to fix all this in the part 2 of the reunion. That was just my own, take. Then RHOA,
hmm
I'll probably give it a 4 because, or let me say a 5 because I wanted to exactly see what really went on in
hmm
that Kenya's event. So I got to see it. So at least that one picked my, I was so interested to watch the episode because of that. So I'm gonna give that a 5. But for me,
Okay.
right, I think the reunion finale was a 0 for me.
Okay.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about RHOA. Before, I just want to say quickly, because there's not too much things to talk about in the episode. It's just one drama from the first scene to the last scene.
Right.
Um, but I noticed something that Portia is kind of giving the vibe of friend of the cast rather than the cast. I don't know that you understand what I mean.
Yeah, I do. I believe what you're saying is Portia seems like she's friending the cast
Yeah,
instead
rather
of
than a
being an
cast member.
actual instead of being an actual member of the cast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that, especially towards the end of the show.
Yeah, when I watched the episode, I was like, please someone remind me again, is Portia a cast member? Did she have a pitch or because I do not get like she just the way she called Brit to have a conversation about the situation and the way she was talking about it again. I'm like, okay, babes, give us your own storyline. We know you want to discuss about them. Give us your own storyline. So it's
Right.
giving me friend of the cast rather
hmm
than a cast member. And which I'm disappointed because I remember when it was being announced that Portia was coming back to the Real Housewife, I was very happy. I literally was so happy, but now I'm very disappointed. I don't think she made any difference on the show
No, she
than when she,
didn't. She didn't.
yeah.
The only storyline I really see Portia having, which is with Dennis and
Mm.
what's her name?
She wanted to talk about Simon, but before the when the show was taping, she Simon, Simon can be very petty.
hmm
He, gave her a lot of cuts, whatever nonsense to stop her from talking about the situation on the show. So she came in because of Simon, but she could not talk about Simon. So I think that part he was very wise in it
hmm
by stopping her from talking about it because she can use that opportunity to shape the narrative of whatever is going on. You get so he was wise in that part for not allowing her to talk about the show. But it's like you have been saying, okay, you are the queen of the show, and you have nothing to offer. It's very disappointing.
Right. I
Is
mean, because other than her argument with Drew, and her going through this with Dennis, you know, that's not being solved. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how many times Drew keeps saying, we need to talk about it. We need to talk about it. It's not going to be solved. You know, so is she
Mm.
going to carry this storyline for the rest of the season? You know, I
I'm
don't know.
already being tired. And when in Kenya's party they decided to have a child, I didn't like the way Portia just dismissed Drew. As much as I don't like Drew,
Mm-hmm.
right? I felt like she wanted to be like, okay, what's going on? Like at least because I believe in that. I would not know what you're feeling on how you're feeling if you don't let me know.
Right.
Some people thinking that you could read minds to know that they're not feeling okay or they're not happy with you. No, I don't read minds. If you're feeling a certain way or I did something that you did not like, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
Simple. Don't
Yeah.
start thinking I would imaginary know that I'm pissed off, you're feeling pissed off at me or you're feeling annoyed by me. Like I didn't like the way Portia treated her in that way because I felt like she was trying to have a convo, but she did not just allow it. And the way she just like went down, like I'm like, I don't understand. Like, well, I feel like she just wants to outstretch it and overstretch it because by now it's supposed to be settled.
Right. You would think
Now it's
because
supposed.
I mean, I don't understand why she just didn't say, look, Drew, let's set up a date and a time. Let's talk about this. Or if she didn't want to even do that, hey, Drew, check this out. Would you want me like frolicking around with your baby daddy? How would you feel? You know?
Mhm.
I mean, because that seems to be like the major problem right there. You know, besides, it seems like Portia is a little bit jealous because, you know, she's not out there singing. You know, you got her best friend out there trying to get back in the studio. You got Drew being back in the studio. Portia, what are you doing? You know,
Yeah.
so I just think it's a little bit of jealousy there.
Mm. Okay. I never even looked at it in that side, but now you're talking about it, I'm kind of seeing it. But my question will now be why should you be jealous? What should make you jealous of that situation? I don't know. Well, everybody has their own kind of way on how to deal with things or do things. I guess maybe I will not judge because of the way I do things. I will then judge others. No, let me not do that. Well, let's move forward. The whole of this episode was concerning Brit and Kenya. Um, Brit had a chat with Portia, the same Brit versus Kenya. Shemise had a meeting with Shemise and Brit and Angela. They had a sit down, and the same topic was Brit versus Kenya. At this point, I was over it, and but I wanted to talk about the fact that Britt was like she didn't like say what she said about the guns in a threatening manner. It just came out. Now, in my own opinion, that's why I don't like words because words can go far. You know, so her saying that she didn't mean it, which language, as in, is there a way to put use of gun in a very simple way or a nice way that nobody interprets it wrong? I don't know, because that's my question. Because is there a way that you use a sentence about gun, about trying to, using a gun and, on somebody? Is there any way for it to be sweet in the mouth when you're saying it? Because her saying that she didn't really mean anything malice, she didn't mean it in a malicious way, but you were talking about guns, you were calling security. Yeah,
I don't know. I kind of look at it like this. If somebody's
yeah,
going to tell me they strapped, you know, we're kind of like in the middle of a debate, a heated debate, and you tell me you strapped, I'm, I'm going to feel like, hey, there's a possibility you're going to use it.
yeah.
You know, there's no ifs, ands, or ways around that.
And we've seen it happen so many times in life.
Well, even with a knife, razor blade, a pencil, anything. A weapon is a weapon is a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
If you're holding it in your hand, let's say you're holding a butter knife in your hand, a spoon, and we're having a heated argument, and you're holding it like, I got a grip on the spoon because I might have to use it. I'm gonna take that threat seriously. Because I'm listening to your words, I'm looking at your body language, and I know that we're in this debate here. So I'm gonna take it seriously. I don't understand why Britt even said that. It wasn't that serious.
Mm-hmm.
So what? She called you a peasant. Hell, Martell called people peasants before too, and nobody said anything about
Oh.
rapping on him. So so what?
Mm.
That's just a name. Names cannot hurt you. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I just didn't understand that. I would have took it as a threat too.
And for me, I don't understand why Brit was coming so hard for Kenya. I didn't just understand. Maybe there's an underlying history we don't know between them. Maybe they should come outside and let us know. If there's an
Yeah.
underlying history we know about that, they are
Hmm.
trying to hide and it's causing so much conflict between the both of them. I guess they have to let us know because for me, if you ask me what's the cause between Brit and Kenya, I can't give you a definite answer. I really don't know what make them so annoyed with each other. I really did not know.
I think it was just the reaction that Kenya had when she first met Britt, like, oh, you're
Or the
it's
ring
the
talk. The
ring
ring
thing.
talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that just kind of rubbed her the wrong way. And
Yeah.
I would have been like, girl, no, I'm celebrating. This is like my anniversary ring. Been with this man 10 plus years, whatever it is. You know, that'd have been my way of rubbing it in your face because I think you're trying to be shady, you know. And
Mm.
she could even said, why you still wear your ring?
Ah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
What, don't you want to put that in the jewelry box for your daughter for later as a keepsake? You know what I'm saying? I would have been shading her right back instead of getting upset, you know.
Mm. Yeah.
But that's just me.
Hmm. Yeah. At the end of the day, we are not them.
Very true.
Hi, Ladon.
Hey, LaDon.
Do you want to come up? So, um, now let's talk about the real altercation and between Kenya and Brit. Now, I have a couple things to say about this stuff. I know some people might not like it, but hey, that's my opinion.
Right.
Now, Kenya had an opening event for her salon, right?
Mhm. Right.
And had a party, different folks from different places literally was there, right? Now, my problem is you invited the ladies, and according to what the ladies said, she did not uninvite Brit.
Hmm.
Now, that's two things. I wasn't expecting Brit to join, to come over. Why? Because common sense. And at the end of the day, they say common sense is not common. Um, if I had a kind of altercation that she had um with Kenya, I tell you for the love of God, you're not gonna see me at your event anytime soon.
Right.
If I had,
I think
yeah,
it I
go
think
ahead.
it was just basically the camera time, you know what I'm saying? A big event. You know, she wanted to be seen and I guess give her apology. You know, but I think it was more to be seen because I don't know how many days have passed since that happened at the Vault restaurant that they were in, having the dinner. I don't know how many days have passed before Kenya's actual event, where Britt had time to say, "Hey, Kenya, let's get together," or "Can I talk to you about this?" You know,
Mhm.
or "Can somebody mediate this between the two of us so we can get together before her actual event?" You know what I'm saying? So I look at it like it had to been the camera time, you know?
Yeah. And like you said, her coming to that event did not make sense. And I totally agree. And probably she did it for the airtime and so that she can get paid.
Hmm.
Was she trying to now play a victim like, oh, I brought up flowers. I wrote a nice card. I'm like, oh, you can't. There's a time for everything.
Right.
And that place and that time was the wrongest in both ways.
Right. You know, it's just like when Shamia had the falling out with Angela. She got together before then, you know, and said, "Hey,
Mhm.
I'm gonna come, you know, and let her know that I was wrong." You know what I'm saying? Didn't Shamia get together with Angela before she came to that dinner, or she didn't?
Yeah. Now, now that I've talked about breaks, I want to talk about care. Oh, sorry, Ladon. I didn't know you were up. Sorry. I wasn't looking at my screen. I'm really sorry.
Hi guys, miss you guys.
Miss you too, Ladon.
Hi. So I wanted to talk about Kenya, right? Kenya,
Mhm.
as much as I love Kenya, I would say that I was disappointed in her in that scene. And I do understand. I know we talked about it last week, and I said I understand a situation where you are pushed to the wall and you might react in a way that is over or exceed what the person even did to you. But I'm not saying that what Kenya did was like she shouldn't have gotten back at um Brit. But my disappointment in Kenya was simply because that was a business event. That was an event she was using to promote her salon. Why would you do that? I don't think that if I had a business and I will call my friends for a party, that same business that everybody's supposed to remember it for my business, for my product, for whatever I am selling, that is what people should go home remembering when they get to their houses. But it will forever be remembered that it was at that event that she decided to get back at Brit. I feel like if she had done that particular stuff in another event, it could have been better. But doing that in an event where it's her place of business, that part I would say that I am disappointed in her. That's just how I felt about the whole situation, about the Kenya situation.
You want to take it, Ladon?
Yeah, I agree. Well, I'm gonna say like this. I'm not a fan of Kenya's, but I did feel like Brit came on, aiming at Kenya. I think when Kenya said something about the ring thing, I don't even think that was big enough a deal for Brit to carry it on the way she did. I think that shows she already had a
Mhm.
target for Kenya. And I think I'm saddened by what Kenya did. It showed me a couple of things. It showed me that Kenya has changed. Kenya is older. She's a mom
Mhm.
now.
Mhm.
And I think these younger girls came in hot. she felt defeated and she dug real low. Because my thing is this, the punishment got to fit the crime, right?
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
you get to throw a pebble, and you can't tell me I can't throw a boulder. But
Mm-hmm.
as a woman, right, I've been in fights, I've been in arguments, I've had people cross me, steal from me, etc. But
Right.
because of who I am and because of what I stand for, there's just some things I just won't do, right?
Mm-hmm.
No matter
Right.
how mad I am, there's just certain things I just won't do because
Right.
of who I am. So I say that to say for Kenya not to be able to clap back with her mouth as she's done in the past, and had to go this low and borderline criminal. Um, I definitely think she's either lost her mojo or she felt defeated and just didn't have nothing else. And that girl won over her. And she couldn't, she just had to go low. Because I don't, for the life of me, any businesswoman that will bring such crap to her grand opening, never mind. It's beyond me. And then try to switch it up and say somebody's taking food out your child's mouth when you're doing something to make people not want it. You put bad juju on it. You put bad juju on it. As soon as you did something devious and bad in your under your roof, that energy, you already put a bad spell over your business. And I think it's sad because I do think that, Kenya is all things beauty. She's beautiful. From the day she walked into this world, that woman has been beautiful, okay, and has been able to sit in rooms with people that some people would never be able to meet. And she just crumbled it all over a sparring match that she, I feel like, felt defeated and just went real low. And when people say she's vindicated, I don't feel like she's vindicated. I feel like Kenya had every right to come back, just like what Mel did with Letitia. She had the security escort her out. That was some shade, some dirty shade, right? A lot of people didn't like that. But that's how you get somebody back on an even level, not doing something the way she did it. So that's the only problem I have with it. I already didn't like Britt because I felt like Britt was coming in too desperate, too hard, too desperate for a moment. So I just feel bad for Kenya right now. And I'm not a Kenya fan, but I feel bad that she felt like she had to go that way. And it's not fair to people around her that had to make a choice. You put them in a position to have to make a choice because would you want to be around somebody that would do something like that to somebody no matter what? You know?
My whole thing is, where did she get the information? Like, who got pictures like that just
She
sitting
paid,
around?
girl. She said she paid for a private investigator.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, who has those actual
They're
pictures?
online and on websites and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Well, geez,
I know.
that's pretty horrible. But yeah, if it was me, no, I, I, I'm gonna get my get back another type of way. You're not gonna mess with
Right.
my money. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one thing that pisses me off the most is somebody to mess with my kids, my money, or my man. We got problems then. Oh, my family members too, but we're gonna have problems. You know what I'm saying? So I seen that there could have been a better way for Kenya
Mm-hmm.
to uh have Britt get less airtime. Like when she's threatened people with guns on here.
She should
So
have been suspended.
I don't want to tape with her. I mean, she could have went a different way with that. Because whenever you mention a gun, that's what do they call it now? I can't think.
Terroristic threat.
Yeah, terroristic threat. Exactly. She could have went that direction with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where she didn't have to just throw a grenade in her own shit and blow it all up. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Because now when people come to her salon, they gonna be like, okay, what's the mess? Or they just gonna be like, I just came here to get my hair done. Don't ask me no personal questions about my life. I'm not I'm with that. Cause women go to the salon and they, ooh, child, this is going on in my life. And this is going on.
Mm-hmm.
People ain't gonna want to talk. They're gonna want to either get their hair done and not have too much conversation, personal conversation, or they're not gonna want to go at all. So was she thinking really about the money that she spent that is the college money of her child?
Right.
I would have been thinking about that. Like, I'm about to blow all my kids' money and destroy it trying to confront this heifer. Nah, I'm good. I'll get you later, though. I'm going to get my get back, but it'll be later at my time. That way, you never know when I'm coming.
That as in that part was so disappointing to me. Like it was your grand opening. Like Ladon said, it's supposed to be sacred. You're supposed to bring in positive energy.
Mm-hmm.
This like you just welcome so much negativity.
Mm-hmm.
Because of what? You could have just let it go for one day, just one day.
Yep. Yep.
I'm pretty sure that even if Kenya had that picture already and she slept over it, right? I'm pretty sure if she woke up the next morning, she would not do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then her sense, she would have been calm, collected, and she'd be like, "Oh, should I do this? Is this the
Mm-hmm.
right decision?" You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Or
I'm
she
pretty
would have
sure
talked
that.
to her friends, her real friends, because Cynthia would have told her that ain't a good way to go. And even Candy got accused of getting ready to kidnap somebody and put Portia in a sex dungeon. Did she retaliate by putting naked pictures up of Portia or Phaedra? No. Like, I don't know. If she don't have good people around her, she did not think it through. And the people that are fueling her now, if they really cared about Kenya, they would have told her not to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I think she wanted to, in my own opinion, watching that situation, it was like she wanted to do like I'm your senior, like I've been in this game,
Mm-hmm.
like I've been in this game for the longest. You can't come in here to like just throw me down. At the end of the day, it's not about who's been in the game longest. She still won.
Mm-hmm.
Even with
Mm-hmm.
the stuff you did, even with the leak back you had, she still won.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When I was watching it, I was like, ah no, Kenya fucked up. I know that Brit is the most annoying
Mm-hmm.
person,
Oh, I can't
but
stand the child. Can't stand her.
but Kenya's part, she went overboard.
Yeah. Yeah.
She went overboard. I think that, like you said, she needed real friends around her. And I don't know, maybe she has gone through so many phases. Like I said, she's been on this show for a long time. She has gone through many phases and done a lot of shit. And some of these ladies have let it go that she thought that, okay, you know,
She
maybe
thought
she
they
thought
was
she
just
was,
gonna be like, oh, that's just
maybe she,
Kenya being Kenya, let it go.
yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Or maybe she thought she was on Zeus. Yeah. Maybe she forgot she was in Bravo and on Zeus because in Zeus, this kind of attitude might be looked over.
I
It
blame
should just be like,
production too a little bit because if you think about it, if they would have suspended, because regardless if she had one on her or not, just for the threat alone, they should have suspended her. Especially the way the world's going today, you don't
Right.
play like
yeah,
that. So they should have suspended Brit. If they had suspended Brit, I don't think Kenya would have went that far. I think Kenya felt like they didn't protect me. She didn't get punished, so I'm gonna spank her and let her know you coming for the queen. But queen, you did it the wrong way at the wrong place and time.
Right.
man,
Because her grand opening was beautiful. You know,
very
Gorgeous.
beautiful.
yeah, her salon is beautiful. And as you said before, Kenya's a beautiful woman. She's always
Yeah.
had it going on, you know. And so what? You get a little older. That just means you're seasoned. Getting
Mm-hmm.
older means you know what you stand for. You know what you're not about to take. You know what you're not about to let nobody confront you with. I would have shut her down. Like she said, she's throwing her dust.
You gave her some stuff. You didn't throw
Yeah,
dust, honey.
yeah. I would have threw her that dust and said, if you want to talk about it later, uh, I I got a nifty little notebook you might want to look through before you
But
keep
think
messing with
about
me.
Brit though. Why would
Yeah,
Brit go? Why would, even if Kenya didn't uninvite her, even say Kenya didn't, because she didn't.
right,
Why didn't Brit herself, knowing y'all just had that blow up, knowing other people in the group told you that Kenya was upset and felt threatened by that? Why
right,
didn't you say, well, I'm going to sit this event out until me and Kenya at least have a talk, since it's Kenya's event? Had it been just a normal group event, that's different. But this
right,
is Kenya's event. Why
right.
would you have went
Mhm.
when you know that what you did is more than a flower apology? It's more than an olive branch. When I say there's too much violence in this world right now, you can't even
Right.
play like that.
You sure can.
No, no, she shouldn't have went. I don't care if Kenya didn't uninvite her. She shouldn't have went. She shouldn't have felt comfortable going, knowing that they didn't clear the air yet.
Right.
I
I
think
agree.
her apology was just to suck up because she thought she really messed up, and she
Yeah.
was going to save her
And
position.
she saw the other ladies telling her that you fucked up.
Mhm.
Hmm.
You were pushing too much. And she felt like, okay, let me just apologize so that the other ladies will see me. And I hate this when someone is like, you know me, I'm a very good person. I'm a very calm person. Don't tell me you're a good person. Let me see how good you are. Because everybody is good until you see their characters.
Till something happened.
Mm-hmm. So she kept on repeating it this episode when she was with Portia and also with Shemise. I'm a good person, even with Kelly. You know me, I'm a good person. I'm like, girl, bye. You're a good person. You're trusting somebody with no. Keep your goodness to yourself. And I felt like it's like, how would I put it? She was me. I didn't even like when I saw her come to the event. I was like, oh no. I felt
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
she also was like
Mhm.
goating Kenya.
Yep. Yep. I agree. I think she went to try to mess up her day too, but in a different way. Just her evil presence. I think she was trying to solidify her position at the same time, but still side eyeing Kenya. I don't think she. I think she really got something against Kenya, and I think if Kenya hadn't did those pictures, I think Britt would have showed her ass because Kenya was playing her dust and she would have been talking her mess and got offended with a couple more drinks. But Kenya didn't even give the church girl another chance to dig a hole because she had the
Yeah,
grenade.
I felt the same thing. I felt like if Kenya had kept quiet, give Britney 3 more episodes,
Yep.
she would have shown her ass to everybody. But Kenya went ahead and fucked up.
Yep.
And instead of Brit getting fired, she got fired. That was disappointing to see.
But I do see the outrage. I think people are more saying not what Kenya did was lightweight or wrong, but you suspending her or firing her is wrong because you didn't fire Britt or you didn't suspend Britt. And if you did an investigation and you think what Britt said was okay, that's even more messed up.
Well, that's even
Yeah,
more alarming. It's like you guys let your reality TV stars come shoot and they're strapped up. That was only supposed to be for security. You know?
for me, I felt like when after watching last week's episode and this episode, I felt like Bravo did a very poor job
Mhm.
in that investigation. The both of them should have been fired. None of them should be on the show.
I don't think they
I'm not saying
protected
Kenya
Kenya
should
at
be on the
all.
show. You cannot bring somebody's nude pictures on reality TV and I say, oh, go ahead and be on the show. No, Kenya should be fired. But as much as Kenya is being fired, Brits should
Brit
follow her
should be
too.
too.
Okay, but okay, you guys are saying that, but then see, that's like a double standard to me. Because then
How?
why wasn't Martell fired?
Oh, that's what we've been saying. We felt like he should have been fired too.
Okay, what
Mattel's on. We don't know what's going on with On. On is another specimen of reality TV show network. I just feel
mm,
like I don't see with Mattel. I gave up because his own is even worse, very glaring, and still they didn't do anything. So
Right.
me,
But we
I've never
wanted
had that
him
double
fired.
standard. I have been one person. Even when I saw Mattel in the last season of the show, I said I was disappointed that he was on the last season. He should have not been on that
That's
last
right.
season of Love and Marriage Huntsville. But that is where the double standard comes in. In all these reality TV shows, sometimes they pick and choose what they, fire people for,
right.
right? What they fire people for,
Phaedra,
they
they dealt with her, Phaedra, instantly for a couple years. Phaedra wasn't, she's just now able to come back. And how many years has that been? So that's the only person we really seen suffer any consequence. Other than that, they've been running the muck around there in them YouTube, I mean, in them reality streets.
even with Bravo, there have been so many instances that they do some kind of things, although they've not gone as far as how Brit and Kenya went. But there've been some instances on this Bravo show on the Real Housewives where they've done things, and you'll be like, shouldn't this person be fired?
Right.
You need to be fired. But you still, the new season comes up and you still see them on the poster, you still see them in the trailer, and you're just like, wow, wow.
Yeah, I guess we'll never know simply because we don't know what their reality star employee handbooks look like. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But we know what morals and values look like
Oh, of
by the
Exactly.
way you
course.
move.
Oh,
Of
and the fact
course.
is that if you call it a reality TV show, it's about reality of life.
True.
And I believe in real life, if someone you're having just a normal beef with someone, and I threaten to say, "Oh, I'm holding, I'm packing, and I could literally use it to protect myself," and it's a threat. In real life, we know how that goes. And if it's a reality TV show to show how these ladies live their everyday life, nobody should tell me there's any rules to anything. That should be penalized. And for Kenya
That's right.
deciding that I'm going to bring somebody's nude pictures, no matter what the person was doing, that should be penalized too. And Kenya got penalized, but Brits did not get penalized. And I can remember when this was happening last year, when it was exposed that Kenya did this exposed Brit's nude pictures on her event, everybody was like, "Oh, I was there. This happened. This happened." I can remember Brit denied so much on social media that she did not threaten or talk about her packing in any shape or form. That Kenya and the rest of them were lying. Now
Mm-hmm.
she came on the show. Now we've watched it and we saw that she talked about it. Tamara, you said Brittany came to the event to genuinely apologize. She always wants to have the last word. I believe that she wanted to genuinely apologize, but there's a right time for everything. As much as there's a right time for everything, there's a wrong time too for everything. At that event, knowing that everything is still hot, it's like you just went to war with someone, everywhere is still hot, and you guys want to sit down. Where do you think that's gonna go?
Right.
It's going to lead to more issues. I believe that me, if I have fights with my friends, I go to my house and I take few days to myself. By the time I'm talking to you in the next 2 days or so, You are calm-headed, I'm calm-headed. We've thought about the things we said to each other or the things we said and we did to each other. You get. And by then we just be like, okay, you know what? Okay, this is where I went wrong. By then your head is calm. You've literally thought, okay, oh yeah, I did fuck up. But do you know that sometimes when you're angered, you don't even know what you're doing is wrong. You just feel like, yeah, I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
It's till when you're calm,
Mm-hmm.
you know, be like, oh wow, I really went far with this thing I did.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what I feel like happened between Brit and Kenya. Brit went and did something that I did not like or did something awful during that event of Angela. Now you're coming to her event, Kenya's event, to apologize. That was the wrong place to apologize. She
Mm-hmm.
should have waited another day.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
Kenya, like I said, her Kenya went too far. I am I like Kenya, so I don't know. Maybe my disappointment level is on a rise, but I am utterly disappointed in Kenya for going that far. When I
Mm-hmm.
saw that picture, even if Bravo didn't show us, with the way the ladies, the expressions they had on their face,
Yes.
you could literally see that that was awful. The
Yeah.
picture was not it.
Yes. Even Portia, who liked to be on camera, liked to be the center of attention, was like, "Take this camera off me. No, I don't want to film right now. No." They were like really visibly upset.
Mhm. Because they are all ladies. There's no one of them that will be happy if somebody exposes their nude pictures. No one of them will be happy in any shape or form.
Mm-hmm.
None of them.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
that's the
this
thing
is
we always.
even more personal and degrading than just a
Yeah.
plain nude picture. This is her with something in her mouth. That's come on, come
And
on.
this is the same thing we always say as women, like our body, our choice.
Yes.
So why the heck would Kenya do that? So that part made me very disappointed in her. And the fact that she did it in her business, more disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very. But I hope, like, because this is the last episode we're gonna see her. Because she kind of wished them well in the on Instagram. I hope she's okay. I don't know whether she might come back next season, but I guess we're gonna see. But with the way the season is going, I feel like the season is gonna flop. So I don't know whether they're gonna be inviting her back on the show. I guess we'll find out. But it's painful to see that this is going to be her last episode on the show. And I'm literally thinking, what is going to be the storyline now? Because I'm tired of seeing Kosha and Drew fight over Dennis.
Oh,
So
good.
let's just see how that will go. And before we go, let's briefly talk about Married to Medicine. I know I'm kind of extending the time I said I was going to be here. Let's quickly talk about Married to Medicine. This was the final finale for the reunion. And we had the Simone and Quad stuff where Quad was kind of asking, what is my karma? For me, I know we said it last week. I said I didn't understand the pastor saying that that was Quad's karma. Karma in what shape or form? Karma that she has a boyfriend now, or karma that Greg is married, or karma, like, I'm not gonna lie. If I was Sweetie and I was listening to that conversation between Simone and Quad,
Mm-hmm.
that moment I will stop being friends with Simone.
Yes.
At that moment, in like there and there, that is where my friendship ends with Simone. Because it was giving the only reason why I am chubby with
Mm-hmm.
you is because this person is not chubby with me. It's like the enemy to my enemy is my friend. Not because you guys really like, and those kind of friendship, they never last. A friendship bond on trauma never lasts. And that is what Simone is to Sweetie. And I felt so disappointed that Sweetie heard that and still feels like Simone is her friend. I don't know how crazy that would be, but I know that if I was in that situation and I heard that, I would have left that relationship immediately. Immediately. What is your thoughts on it? Living with your girl.
Uh, well, Simone is gonna jump ship. You know, as far as one moment she's kind of friends with Heavenly, then she's not. Same with Quad. So I think that she was definitely she's gonna jump ship. So I think it would probably be to Sweet Tea's best interest not to really consider these ladies as friends, but work associates.
Mm. And did you see the way that Jackie threw her out of the room?
Yeah, seeing that, I thought that was a little on the rude side. Like just go. You're dismissed.
Like, go,
You're not
go.
you're not wanted
Even
here
your
right
friend
now.
Simone could not even support you and be like, "Yeah, let her be here," or you know.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty rude. But it happened.
What about you, Ladon? How did you feel about
Well, Jackie's the wicked witch of the South.
Oh,
Okay, in my opinion, she's just a wicked witch. I mean, she was woo. It was like I'm surprised it took Sweet Tea that long. The way Jackie said that, it scared me through the screen. Okay, I was like, good lord. But yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. That's that kid petty, uh-huh. You did this to me, so I did this to you. And for Sweet Tea to sit there and act like it ain't registering to her that she was used just to get Quad mad is beyond me. And the karma thing, I didn't get it neither. I was lost. I was like, wait a minute. Karma's supposed to be if you did something and these bad things are supposed to happen. It seemed like Quad upgraded, got a better looking man, a taller man. She's happier, having more ex and all that. So where's the karma? She's still on the show. Um, I think you used the wrong word, or if you did think you did something to her, like by taking your friendship away and giving it to a emotionless friendship, then who really is the fool and wasted their time? You,
mm,
Simone, did nothing to Quad, so it was just mind blowing. It just shows how their minds just ain't wired right, you know. And it also shows how petty and devious Simone is on the get back
yeah,
level. I was shocked that she's just that catty, like over something like that. Well, let's keep it real. Y'all never had a real friendship even back then. You just used Quad because you didn't like Mariah, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So then after that, when Quad was going through what she was going through, Dr. Simone, you wasn't on Quad's side. You wasn't there for her. None of y'all really was. And that's where the split really came. And that's when Quad got a job.
Exactly.
So
And
you're being a hypocrite. It's like, oh, you left us from no, you was already not effing with me. And that's why I had to go and build a village because I was going through a divorce and getting dragged. And y'all wasn't there for me. Dr. Simone, he's something else. That's why I didn't fall
I
for none of the both.
I be laughing every time when she talks about the friendship. One thing I know about friendship is not forced.
Yes.
When you force friendship, it never ends well.
Yeah.
If I'm going into something and I see that it's forced, I will leave. Because it's either you are being made as a fool or they play you for a joke. So friendship should not be forced in any shape or form. So the way that Dr. Simone be forcing the friendship with Quad, even if I was Quad, I would not be friends with you.
Yep.
Because it's
Yep.
giving you must be my friend by fire by force. It's not by force.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't want to be friends, we won't be friends. And life would go on.
Mm-hmm.
Since Quad has not been friends with Simone, did it reduce or add anything to her life? No.
Yeah.
No. Nothing. So
Mhm.
I just feel like that part was kind of
And I
messed
was
up.
mad, and I was also mad at Heavenly's
Yeah,
husband, and how they, I
Damon.
was upset that he cared more about being labeled a cheater than his wife telling some man that he's a child molester. I mean, I just, like, it was mind blowing that he put that on the
Yeah,
same level and said, "You didn't defend my character, you're a coward," but you didn't defend his character neither when your wife is the one that put it out there. Like, it's just mind blowing to me that Heavenly could say what she want and there's no accountability. Like,
but
no.
Sweetie cannot say what she wants.
Yes.
For
Yeah.
me, I felt like that discussion was slippery slow because the both of them were wrong. The two wives were wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Sweetie and Heavenly were wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I've said it here so many times that Sweetie is turning into Heavenly
Mm-hmm.
2.0.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so Sweetie was wrong by foiling the cheating stuff, even Contessa. I always say it amongst these women, they only preach something when it suits them. It's like, oh, as far as it suits me, I'll be for it. If it doesn't suit me, I'll be against it. And it doesn't make sense. Don't be like that.
Right.
Don't be like that. Be, straightforward. And that's where we're going to come to Damon, Quad, King. Now, they were having this chat now about the don't talk to my girlfriend, don't talk to my wife, and everything. I understood where some of the guys were coming from is that when a woman, you just don't say those kind of things to a woman. I accept that. I say yes, I agree with them. Also agree that it doesn't mean that the woman should be able to say what she wants to say. Yeah. She Dr. G, what he said to Quad was totally wrong. He shouldn't have put it in that way. And I said it. I think we've said it during when the episode aired. I have said it, we've said it, that the only reason is because Quad and Dr. Greg have not healed from that divorce. They are
No, they
still in the
haven't.
divorce. We could even see it in today's episode when it was like, you divorced me, you took you wanted to take my and a lot of my things. Like, when did this divorce happen? Why are we talking about the divorce now? And Greg brought it up. Immediately, Greg brought it up. I was like, yeah, this guy hasn't healed from this divorce. This guy hasn't healed from divorcing Quad. Why the hell did they marry Sweet Tea? How do you not heal from your divorce and you get married? Because him saying, oh, you wanted to take me, you divorced me, and we had a divorce, and you wanted to, bleed me dry, blah 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 blah. I'm like, no. And the fact that he was saying those things in front of his wife, sometimes I feel like Dr. Greg doesn't know what to say in front of his wife and when to just shut up. Because I felt like at that moment he shouldn't have brought up the divorce because Sweetie wasn't there for the divorce. So I don't know why he was bringing it up. I don't know if you have another opinion about it, living with your girl, about them talking about the divorce, even after how many years?
Yeah, I think it's pretty stupid to be talking about a divorce 5, 6 years later. You know what I'm saying? Was done is done. And I feel like we said before, neither one of them was completely healed, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But then they got into these other relationships, and it's like now they're bringing the person that they say they newly
They
loved into
love,
the old shit.
and which
You
is
know?
not fair to them.
Yeah, so me personally, I would be upset if I got put in an arena like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. What about you, Ladon? How did you feel about them talking about the divorce?
I think that, yeah, it's a bit tiring. Leave it alone. Bury it already. I think he did it to spite. I think he married her to spite Quad, and it's sad that he used that girl. You know, at the same time, she knew what she was getting into too. She had a goal, and I think that yep, he was wrong for talking to Quad like that. But at the same time, he got a wife right there. The women deal with the women, the men deal with the men. She should have handled it. She should have stepped up and was like she was doing on the stage. Don't talk to my husband like that. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Or whatever she felt like was going on. But don't no man have a right talking to no woman like that, period. So, but as
Yeah.
far as the, I think that he's dragging this on because he still got feelings for Quad. And if Sweet
Yeah.
Tea don't see that, then that's sad because he's humiliating her. He does it in her face, and it's like I would be looking at him like, why you keep talking about that? Like, who cares? Get new stuff. Who cares about that?
Yeah. The fact that he brought it up, I was pissed off for Sweetie. I don't know what Sweetie has to see to realize that this guy still has a little bit of residual feelings for Quad. I'm pretty sure. Let me not go far, but I just feel like he has residual feelings for Quad. But I love that they apologize to each other. I hope if we see them back next season, maybe, maybe it's going to be better. But you could notice that almost all the men knew that the only reason why Greg was pissed off is because Quad has a new man. Because they all said that when he just got married, he was flexing it in front of Quad. So now that the role is reversed, he's feeling pains. So um at the end of the day, the both of them have to move on, heal, and go to the next chapter. But it was the most embarrassing thing that I saw was for him performing that song in front of everybody. I don't know. I'm gonna give the award to Sweetie for the most supportive wife on the
Not on
planet Earth.
the
Yeah. Yeah, that's how we're gonna wrap up this season. I'm going to give Sweetie the most supportive wife
He was
on the planet
bopping,
Earth.
boy.
Yeah. I want to ask this question to Ladon and Living for Your Girl. You guys are the ones that are married, or you've married, or you've had situation before. I want to ask, where does your support for your spouse begin, and where does it end?
It's gonna end as soon as he pick up that mic and start singing about a song about his ex.
I wouldn't even
That's where
allow
it
him to
ends
do
for
that.
me. That's where it ends for me. Okay, I'm off the merry-go-round. Because you got to be this tall to ride this ride over here.
Yeah.
You said you would have ended when you picked up the mic. Oh
Yes,
my God.
it'd have been over.
I wouldn't even let him go out there and do that. I would be like, you do that if you want to. You better not. You could do that in the living room when we get home, but you better not go out there in
No,
front
you
of
you
people.
cannot sing in the living room in my house about another
Understood.
chick
But
that
my
done did you
support,
wrong that you talking about you need to flee from. Like, no, dude, we're not having that. No, not where I lay my head.
hmm,
Think
well,
again.
I know one thing. My support will end as soon as I feel like you're infatuated, or still in love with your ex. I would not tolerate that. I will not compete against that. I won't encourage you to keep taunting her. I would do none of that. Okay? That's where I would draw the line. And I also would draw the line if I don't care how much I love you. If I don't agree with something and it's against what I stand for, I'm not the type of person to say, okay, I'm just going to go along with it because you're my husband. I'm not going to let you
Mhm,
push me off a cliff.
That's
Okay?
right.
I'm
mhm,
not jumping off there with you. And that is it.
mhm.
So there's a lot of things that'll make me buckle back.
And the way she was even dancing, I was like, oh my God. Maybe it's just a husband and wife. That was what I said when I was watching the episode. I said, maybe it's just a husband and wife thing. Maybe because I'm not yet married. So probably that's why I don't know where to support your husband. But one thing I know is that myself, the way I know myself, if my boyfriend should stand up, hold his mic, and sing in presence of that said ex,
Yeah,
right?
it's over.
That
Yeah,
ex was there
yeah.
and he's saying, free me. Even the ex was squad was like, uh.
Easy. Mm-mm.
You're thinking about freeing you? Huh. I might
Yeah,
not even say anything. I might not say anything when we are on the stage, right? I'm just gonna wait till we leave so that I will not embarrass myself. Once we get home, it's either you're packing your shit off that house because what the heck is that?
matter of fact, I'm walking off stage in the middle of the reunion because I'm on my way to the crib to pack your shit.
Mm-hmm.
Your shit will be outside,
Mm-hmm.
unarranged,
Yeah.
because I'm not sitting it neatly. I'm not putting it in no boxes.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
I
I
don't even
walk
have
on
grass in
stage
my front
too.
yard. So guess what? Your shit is in the dirt.
Yeah, you talking about you need your heart to be free. Free me like your heart is still locked up with somebody else. I'm walking off stage. Too.
Yeah.
I'm walking off stage. I can't
Yeah.
wait.
I'm not clapping and smiling and cheering you on. Like, no, negative.
Girl, don't you hear what he's saying? He's saying he's singing the quad. He's
Exactly.
singing you.
Like serenading her.
Lord.
Man, when I saw that he even pulled off his jacket and was like dancing, I was like, woo, woo.
Yeah, he doing too
Oh,
much. He doing too
he
much.
did too much.
That would have cost him his second wife. If I
He
would have
should have
been
got one
his
of them
second
mics.
wife.
Look, he should have got one of them mics that change your voice while you singing. Cause that is
Ah,
terrible.
Shit, the way Sweet Tea was sitting there cheering him on, she should have just been the
laughing.
background vocals. You know what I'm saying?
He was like, okay, that is why. Because see, I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna say this: the first time that episode dropped when he sang that song, if at that moment Sweetie stood on her ground and was like, "What the fuck do you think you're doing?
Yes.
I don't want to hear that fucking song." If she has stood her ground and let him know that, hey, you better choose me or that song, and
Yes.
it never got to air on the show, I bet you nothing would make Greg in this life have the effrontery to take the mic or even let, because I'm pretty sure he was the one that let Andy know that he wanted to perform.
Mm.
Because there's no way Andy would
Okay.
have just said, perform for us. He would have let Andy know that I'm going to perform my new single.
Mm,
There
mm,
is no
mm.
way on this planet Earth that he would have decided that, okay, we're going to perform the song. The only
Mm-mm.
reason why he did that was because Sweetie smiled all the way through
Mm.
the production
Mm.
of that music. Then it ended up that at the end of the day, he sang it in the presence of the set. See, I was looking at Kwan and I was disappointed in Sweetie.
Yep. Yep. She let him make a fool out of him in front of in front
Oh,
of her.
a
Okay,
big
because
mockery.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
A very, very big I was so disappointed. And she was singing and hopping. I was like, wow, I have never seen a wife like, okay, maybe we've seen wives cheer for their husband. Maybe I've not just come across them, but
Mm-mm.
man,
Mm-mm. You wouldn't have sung it. I told you. I'm like you. You would not even went out there and sung that song. You wouldn't have did it because I would have had a problem. Okay.
everybody was looking at him funny. Even Andy was looking at him like, man, this guy has a screw loose in his head.
Anybody can make a song right now.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Man, well, I guess that's where we're going to wrap it. And like I said, I'm going to give the award to the best supportive wife from Married to Medicine to Sweetie, because I would have said I would have given it to Heavenly, but when I saw her smiling and jumping Sweetie for her husband singing that song, I said no, that would go to um Sweetie, the most supportive wife in the franchise of Married to Medicine.
I
Now
agree.
now we've come to the end for Married to Medicine. Who do you think might or will not be coming back, or who do you not want to see on the next season of Married to Medicine? First, living for your girl.
Who do I think is gonna come back? I
and who
think,
you don't want to come back.
you know what? At this point, I really don't care who comes back. You know, do I want to see anybody go? No, not really. I mean, they all kind of deserve each other, as far as
Yeah.
production, film crew, associates. They all kind of deserve each other. They're going to continue to do what they do. They're going to be messy, no matter if they bring somebody else new in. It's going to be the
Mm,
same thing.
yeah. What about you, Ladon?
Well, I hope they don't bring nobody new in on this mess. It ain't fair to other people to have to come into this, you know. But the new couple, I'm on the fence with them because I don't want her to be over analyzing everything all the time. Like, loosen up. Are you going to be a friend or a doctor to the group? Like, loosen up. It seems like every time somebody says something, she coming with her therapeutic point of view, and it's like, are you going to be the group therapist or are you going to be one of the girls and get into some stuff too? I don't know, but so I'm on the fence with the new couple. I hope they don't bring anybody in new because the group is still too fractured. Um, by the way they ended, I do think they're all coming back though.
Mm. Well, anyway, for me, everybody could come back. I could care less. I just don't need the same drama. And I don't know. Okay, if there's one person I might be wishing to leave the show would be Jackie, because Jackie have
Yep.
absolutely nothing to offer
Yep.
in this season, and it's unfair that others are offering something. She's just there cashing her check without really offering anything up. So I would appreciate, like really, really appreciate if Jackie's no longer on the season, except if she has something to offer. I heard that there's Quad is trying IVF and Dr. Jackie's her doctor. Except if they want to use that storyline for the next season, okay, fine. But if not, if Jackie doesn't have any storyline to impute, even Simone, I don't know why they're always first chair when they have nothing to offer. But at the end of the day, they know what they're doing there.
Hmm.
I wish them luck. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining us on today
Yeah.
review and recap. Thank you very much, Ladon, for joining us. Thank you also, Living for Your Girl. We'll see you guys same time next week. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.